All right, so on January 28th, you won your first title, well, second title,
Second
but
title.
tell us a little bit about it.
I mean, yeah, at first this wasn't even supposed to be really a title fight.
Okay.
I don't know. Mike was like, listen, with the opponent that's coming up, this kid's on a two-fight winning streak. You're on a two-fight losing streak. Um, let's get back into that kind of winners column and make this a pretty fight. And why not throw like a title on the line? You know what I mean? And at first it was like we were looking at options, maybe like keeping it in a regional or district title, something like that kind of. Um, and I wanted something bigger. You know what I mean? I wanted to go if I'm gonna have the you know if I'm gonna take risk, I want to make sure there's a good reward. So I mean, he presented the ABF title as an idea, and I was like, yeah, let's do it.
And was your opponent, was he the champion or was it vacant?
It was vacant,
Okay.
vacant. It's super lightweight.
Okay, that's awesome. And how did it feel to have your grandfather there?
Unreal, man. Unreal. I mean, he walked me up for my first title, and now he walked me up for my last title. Well, my more recent title, I should say, because
Yeah,
I feel like I'm gonna have a lot more in the future.
that's great. What do you think your future has in store?
Well, having a 9-4 record, a lot of people are going to lean that towards more of me being, I guess you could say, a journeyman. But I mean, I've always felt that I'm a contender. I always felt that anybody that has a loss isn't going to be obviously Floyd Mayweather or even kind of at that standard. But I mean, I've competed with the elites. I've been at that elite level, and I've showed that I'm game. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
always there. So I mean, it's kind of hard to count myself out. But like watching when you were talking to Luke, I noticed that he said something about like the age and everything, and time is the essence, man. I got to get my ass on. Well, I got to get my butt on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to you know make sure that I can get in and out, make a nice payday, and be happy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, just building my resume right now, trying to get back in that winners bracket. That's the biggest thing for me more than anything.
Right. And obviously you just got back in the winner's bracket by winning a title.
Yep.
That's going to be huge. Uh, is this fight in Florida? Is that a title defense?
It is not a title defense. From what I've been told, this is more of just stay busy fight.
Okay.
Kind of what Canelo does when he fought like Yildirim and all of them.
Sure.
Just staying busy.
Mm.
But when I get back here in June, we have some things in stores. It might be a title fight, and we're trying to pull for like an NBA, NABA, which NABA is under the Association of the WBA.
Yeah.
They're affiliated. And that would be huge because if that puts me in the WBA rankings, I'm in the world rankings. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I'm becoming a more and more, I guess you could say, like a top 10 champion eliminator for
Oh,
my weight class.
wow. Wow. And how old are you currently?
I am 27 years old.
And are you looking at the same thing like Luke, looking at 30 as the line?
I'm gonna put 32 on it.
32 on it?
Yeah,
Okay. All right. That's great.
I've
Uh,
been doing it for 4 years, and Luke kind of made his debut a little later on.
yeah.
So with that, I have a lot more experience, I think, on that. Like I said, I've seen the world level. I've seen the highest stage you can go on. So I feel like I finally just after fighting Tiger Johnson, even though I lost and I kind of got, I'd say pretty beat up. I learned that I have a great chin, and I got my confidence, and I even landed some really good combinations and shots. I mean, on an Olympian. So this kid's like, they're calling him the next whatever. I think that someone said Sugar Ray Robinson or Roy Jones Jr. He's slick, but it's like he's still fairly new in the game. You know what I mean? He hasn't really stepped up to someone that's at his level yet. You know what I mean? So we'll see. But I feel confident that I'm gonna get back to that level, and I'm gonna be able to perform even better because of that fight.
Right. So you're saying that fighting somebody that was so far above your level was so helpful because you saw that you could hang.
Right.
You weren't scared anymore. Now it's
Right.
opened your eyes to, okay, I just need some more time.
Yeah.
If you give me some more time, I can be on that level. I'm not scared of that level. I
Exactly.
was able to take the punches. I was land some punches, but just maybe he was quicker or maybe his combinations were a little
Just
better.
I think he had a lot more pedigree than me. You know what I mean? I've definitely been in there with some real dogs, and you know what? The kid lost to a gold medalist in the Olympics. He was supposed didn't lose to that kid, he would have became probably the gold medalist for the Olympics. You know
Wow.
what I mean? So that just shows, you know, every little measurement in the game, even who you're versing upon, what's next in your career. So if I was to go try and beat Tiger after he wins like 30 more fights and he's at the highest rank, I'm pretty much skipping the line to go to the top. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just, yeah. I feel like more than anything, it taught me that, there is levels to this and this is real. And, you can't feel high and mighty and think you're going to take that big step up. So now I'm going to take that step down. I'm going to fight those tier 2 level fighters and I'm going to, try and get myself back to that.
Right. Right. Yeah, Luke and I had a conversation out in the parking lot about some MMA stuff, and it was
Right.
like we were talking about one of the fights that happened, which was Max Holloway versus like Calvin Kattar, and you
Yep.
saw the discrepancy. And then when Max Holloway went up and fought Volkanovski, you saw the discrepancy,
Right.
and you're like, "That's the
This
levels
is the
from
levels of it.
3 to 2 to 1 is so
It's a
drastic
gap.
that
It's a gap.
that is definitely visible, and not just visible, like clear as day. Even a person that is a casual fan
Right.
could see the difference in the levels there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
And Calvin called him a novice boxer.
called
He
who?
he called he called Max Holloway. He's like, he's a novice boxer, but blah blah blah.
Yeah,
And that's why Max Holloway said when he looked at the camera and said, "I'm the best effing boxer."
yeah.
He was doing that because he felt that
Oh,
he
okay.
felt a little shot down
Yeah,
that people were underestimating his boxing skills.
which is interesting because he's such a high level striker. But
And he
again,
taught himself boxing through the UFC video game.
yeah,
I mean,
that's legendary,
that's
right? That's so
crazy. You
legendary.
never hear that.
Yeah, it's savage. Just like you sit there playing video games and then get in the ring and
Learning
okay.
the angles and how he wants to get his punches off.
Yeah,
It's like that's how I'm gonna do it right there.
yeah. I mean, obviously he takes it to the gym,
Of course. Of course.
but we had talked about that too, using time off to upgrade your mind.
Right.
It's not. This is a physical game, but it's also mental too.
Of course.
Do you have a regiment that you do with watching? Are you watching high level fights? Are you breaking them down? Are you watching your fights? Are you doing anything like that?
I watch a lot of my boxing matches. I always look back and, try to go through the motions of it. And I even try to kind of feel how I felt in that moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's hard because when your adrenaline's kicking in and you're kind of between the line of having self-doubt even at times. You know what I mean? Like, can I do this? Is this gonna
Are you
really
talking about inside the fight?
the whole way leading up to it? It's a
Okay.
mental game. You got to go through mental warfare with yourself before you can get in that ring. Because you know what? At the end of the day, no matter what, both men are scared whether they want to say it or not. But it comes a pride thing. Like it's like I got this guy though. I'm better than him. I know that. But it doesn't mean anything because at the end of the day, you get that performance anxiety. You get all that stuff, and you got all these people around you that are here to see you win. So this is all on you. You know what I mean? I think with the Tiger Johnson fight, I felt a little bit more like I was more comfortable because I was like, this is all on him. Like everybody's here for him. But it was funny because when the bell rang and we went out and we started scrapping it off, and I started to let my hands go, people were going, "Let's go, Harry!"
Yeah.
So it's like I don't even know. Some boxing fans are there just for like the fight. I wish boxing wasn't so watered down with the rankings and the business side because with the UFC, people aren't really afraid to take that risk. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's not going to ruin your career. You can always bounce back, but with boxing, it's like, all right, I'm one fight away from becoming washed. You know what I mean? Like completely like. So I got to take these steps, and if I was to ever lose a fight again, I hope I don't. It's a horrible feeling. Um, you know what? I hope it's against someone that I know is at the greatest that they can possibly be. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like I know my potential. I know that I could be a world champion. I do. I really do. Because I'm still crafting my talent. You know what I mean? I don't think I've fully reached my peak yet. I'm getting there. I'm definitely peak like performance wise for my body. I think I'm definitely at that level for sure. Because I'm in my prime now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At 27, I heard it's like 28 to like 32, 31 is like your really prime years in fighting.
Okay.
And I feel like right now I'm the strongest I've ever been.
Wow.
So it's like feel like so I started boxing when I was like what 14 years old. To feel the man strength start kicking in around like 23, 24, and now it's like oh it's there. Like I can feel it. I'm faster. I'm stronger. Um, I got better cardio. I just feel like right now is the time to grab onto this.
Yeah, in the last fight, that was a 6 round fight. In eight,
Eight
oh,
round.
sorry,
My
was it?
third 8 round fight.
Oh wow, yeah, it
Um,
went 8 rounds, and at the end of it, you look good.
I
Like
felt good.
you looked like you could do another
I went
one.
over to Tommy and said I wanted to do 12 at
Yeah,
some point. Well, 10 this year, and then 12 by
yeah,
the beginning of next year.
yeah. You had a good crowd there. I was recording. I was next to your section. They were
It was
cheering.
it was loud.
Yeah, it was very loud. But I did also notice that some haters out in the crowd.
Oh, they're always there. And
What's that? What's that about?
trust me, there's a lot of different things. I think it's has something to do with, um, you know, people like to hate on me, and I don't really care. I love it, honestly, because you know what? My haters make me want to potentially always work my best potential to get better. You know what I mean? I always
Yeah.
strive. Um, but yeah, like I've butted heads with Higgins fans. A lot of guys from Lowell don't really like me because me and Higgins went back and forth,
Okay.
and then he blocked me because he's a fuck.
Yeah.
Man, I could say
That's a topic for another day. Sure, sure, sure.
But I've created some enemies in boxing, and I'm sure, for the right reasons. Yeah, there's a
Okay.
lot of different things in boxing where people will see you up and they want to shoot you when you're down. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
they'll grab onto you when you're up. They'll be there the whole time, and
Right.
they'll try to, and then they leave. They run away.
Yeah.
And then so you got to go through the rigmarole of, okay, you know what? These are the people that are around me right here, right now. This is good energy. This is what I want, anyways, because you don't want people around you giving off this, loving, good energy, but behind your back they're stabbing you. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Right.
that it hurts when you find out and you turn around and everyone's just, turn their back on you, even from just a loss.
Right.
If you lose, you'll see who's real. Everybody will, the people that matter will be there.
Yes.
The people that don't, that didn't really care about you, they're
Yeah.
gone.
The people that really care are there
Yep.
when you lose, not when you win.
Exactly.
Everybody's around when you win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I've gotten that off my chest in life. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so the people that are here now, they're here. I mean, this is good. This is a good thing. I have lost fans, and then all of a sudden the fans are back when I start winning again. I'm like, all right, they're probably a little worried about seeing me get hurt or something like that. But you know what? A lot of people will buy tickets off me, and a lot of people show support. And like Luke said, with the sponsorships, with everything around you, the people that support you, I know that everybody's not going to be able to make it that night. People got stuff to do,
Yeah.
and everyone's got a life. This is my life.
Right.
I have 2 full-time jobs. I've said this to my brother. I got to get up, get my work pants on, and then when I get out of work, I drive straight here.
Right. Yeah. And we talked about that with Luke. So what do you do as a day job?
I work at Munch's Corporation. We have a lot to do with like moisture control and stuff like that. I'm actually working as a mechanical assembler right now.
It's cool.
Um, we do a lot of labor work and stuff like that. And I actually just got my name into the labor's union. So I just had my interview with them. So it's looking pretty good. Like I'm trying to sooner or later obviously have a stable job. And I think being in the union where you can, work and get that pension and annuity is a big thing,
Yeah.
especially long term. You know what I mean?
There's a lot more security there than
Of
with
course,
boxing, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, my grandfather said this. Boxing for journeymen, for people that are actually like taking this serious. We're not talking about the stepping stones and like the people that are like, all right, it's clear you're here for a payday. They should start a union for these guys.
Yeah.
Even to just send donations to. People would do it.
Right.
Because you know what? At the end of the day, without us, they're not making fights.
Right. Right.
How do you get that guy to that next level? You got to test him with a journeyman or a top club prospect. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I noticed that a lot too. You think about it like when you were a kid, you grew up watching like pro wrestling,
Right.
and you're like, oh, there comes the Undertaker, and then he's like throwing some guy around that you're like, when he walks out that he's gonna get beat
Yeah.
up. They call them jobbers,
Yeah.
and you're like, you forget that he's a real person. Like he has a family, he's got to pay bills. He's doing that for a paycheck.
Right.
Letting somebody throw him out of the ring into the crowd and crack his skull on the ground. You're like,
Of course.
how much do you get paid for that?
Right.
And everyone's booing him and spitting on him, and you're like, man, that's a real person, even though it's a show. And it's the same thing when you have these guys that are boxing that maybe they don't have that career ahead of them that
Right.
is world champion level, but they still are real people and they still have families.
Of course.
So they need to be taken care of in that manner.
It's funny that you say it like that because, at the beginning of my career when we were fighting, like we were, as they call them, the tomato cans.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, like kind of like making jokes about them. And my buddy Gene Baraldi also, he's coached me for a couple fights. was like, listen, man, you should love those guys. Those guys make you a better you. You know what I mean? Like they're here to make you look great.
Yep.
And they're like, so without them, you don't have this. You know what I mean? You're looking because guess what? When you get to that stage, those guys at the elite level are looking at you like you look at them. I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
You're
that's
right.
an eye opener for
It's an
sure.
eye opener.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're like, all right, you're right. Like we all have our job in this industry, and for those guys, I mean, they got they got a tough job.
Yeah. The laborer job.
Yeah,
They're the guys with the shovel
exactly.
digging the ditch.
I'll
So
tell you.
so let's talk a little bit about your family histories.
Okay.
It's very, very rich in boxing.
Yes.
You are a
Fourth generation.
fourth
boxer.
generation boxer.
Yes,
So
sir.
tell us a little bit how that started.
So my grandfather, growing up, got into a little bit of trouble, and he was in a chain gang in Florida, which the chain gang obviously you had to work on the roads and stuff. And you know he didn't have a lot of support behind him, so um, the security, I mean the guards used to make them box, so they set them up and they put bets on them, and that's where it started back in like 1956, I want to say.
Savage.
Hold on, yeah.
Say, hey, you're a criminal. You have no rights.
Yeah.
Dance,
No,
fight,
exactly.
for us. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's crazy.
And then after a long day of scraping gravel on the road and making the pavements, my grandfather said he probably paved half the roads in Florida.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. They'd treat you like a dog.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm sure the refs were there and there was judges
I think
and
I think
medical.
yeah, the guards were just like spitting tobacco and throwing money pretty
Yeah.
much.
I'm sure that was regulated.
Fight. Yeah.
Weight classes and everybody weighed in.
People are probably all beat up. They're picking their gloves up.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, probably picking the biggest guy versus the
Yeah.
smallest guy. Let's see how fast
They weren't weighing guys in. I know that.
for sure.
Yeah. And then obviously when my Uncle Norman was born, my grandfather always wanted to, show him what he knew with boxing. So as he got older, he got him into the boxing gym, and he started training under the tutelage of Fletcher Carter, which Fletcher Carter was actually a really big name coach out around this area.
Okay.
And honestly, I'm pretty sure a lot of people in the USA know who he is.
Okay.
He was a good coach.
Yeah.
And my Uncle Norm wanted his sons to be boxers. He always talked about that when he had kids, he wanted them to box. So after Derek and Jeffrey were born, obviously the Haverhill Boxing Club was, starting to develop into, a pretty big organization for Haverhill. And the boys started fighting, won the junior Olympic tournament. And when my cousin Jeffrey turned 17, or I think he was 16 years old, he fought like a 25-year-old like vet.
Oh, jeez.
Like, and the kid was there to knock his head off. Everybody was like, dude, this should not even be a sanctioned fight. Like,
Wow.
and Jeffrey knocked him out in the first or second round, I think. Beat the bag out of him. Derek, people think my cousin Derek was a little bit better of a boxer. I guess he was a little bit harder of a hitter and he could put his combinations together.
Yeah.
But Jeffrey had the fame. People loved to come see him and they would always back him because, you know what? The kid made an exciting fight, throwing those head combinations. Fought very much like Mickey Ward. He could fight in the pocket, take a little bit of a beating, and then just rip you apart. And then obviously at like 14 years old, well, I had been watching my cousin Jeffrey for most of his career that I can remember. And obviously like Mickey Ward and them, and I always looked up to them. You know what I mean? I always looked up to like,
How can you not?
yeah, I was like, these guys are gladiators. Like, this is awesome. So me and my friends were doing like backyard boxing and like my mom was like, this is crazy. These kids are crazy. And I was like fist fighting and getting into
I'm sure mom knew it was coming.
Yeah,
But was
yeah,
dreading
yeah,
it
yeah.
for sure.
And then like I'm always like at like 7 years old, I was like, I want to go to the boxing gym. My mom's like, no, you're not doing that. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah. I want to so like me and my brother up, we took a mattress and put it on the floor and we're boxing with that like it's a ring.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But I was a neighborhood scrapper. I fought everybody in my neighborhood. And mainly because I was a little kid and a lot of people tried to pick on me because I was a smaller kid with a lisp. So people were like, trying to shit on my life. And it's like, all right, well, now I'm going to show you what I can do.
Yeah.
All right, you're a good talker and you can make fun of me because I'm little, but now I'm going to show you what I'm not afraid of you.
Do you know who
what
my family is? Like
yeah.
Dude,
you should go look.
Do you know where I come from?
Look where I come from.
Yeah.
My bloodline will speak a lot of volume.
Yeah.
And then I obviously got into the gym at 14. And the first day I'm there, it's like a signing, and Mickey Ward's there, and it's like this big thing. And I'm like seeing all these people come in. I'm pretty sure the news was there, and I'm like, yeah, man, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm like sitting back. I actually still have the picture. I'll send you it.
Yeah.
It's me and my friend, my best friend from first grade, Kyle, just like sitting back, awkward, like looking at Jeff.
Yeah.
And it's like we look like awkward, like scared teens, but
Yeah.
it was just because it was like I was in awe to finally be walking into a gym with like my biggest icons around me. And
Yeah.
it's like it felt godly. It was
Yeah.
like wow. And then I started boxing, and the first day, my cousin Jeffrey ran out to my dad, and he's like, "Uncle Stevie, this kid's good. This kid's got it. Like
Yeah.
he's tough. He's tough."
Nice.
So I was like, you know what? Let's try and like set up a fight soon, like in a couple months. So like they aimed for like March. Jeffrey,
And how old are you at this time?
about to turn 15.
Wow.
I think 15. I was 15 at the time.
15.
Yeah.
So you're talking
So I
an
trained.
amateur
I
fight.
trained at 14
Yeah.
that summer, and then I turned 15, and then I had trained for about a year and a half. Jeffrey dies that February,
Wow.
right before my debut. He was on the show The Contender season 1 and 2, and a lot of people thought that he was eliminated due to the fact of the chicken pox, but to find out later on in his career he was suffering from Crohn's disease, which it was deteriorating him obviously, and it was ruining his career. He was
Right.
going through getting surgeries on his stomach and stuff, and just it was eating him up. And a lot of people think that's where he started kind of going through depression and mentally starting to lose that. You know what I mean? So, but that's what pushes me. I made my amateur debut that year,
Yeah.
and they did a 10 bell ringing for him, and my whole family was there, and all my family friends. It was like the biggest thing.
That must
I
be
was
so emotional.
I was wearing his robe, Hellraiser Fraser right on the back. It was like everything I had pictured without him. You know what I mean? And so it's like it's just like till this day I get out of the ring sometimes. I'm like, damn. You know what I mean? Like, because when you picture this is how it was supposed to be, and then you lose that. I can't. It can stop us a fighter. Like after Luke Campbell's dad died and he got beat by Ryan Garcia, he made the announcement. He's like, "I won a gold medal with my father. My
Yeah.
father's not here with me anymore." That's was the main reason we did this.
Yeah.
So a lot of people
Khabib did the same thing.
a lot of people thought that that's what was going to happen with me. Like, I just lose that, and it pushed me. And here we are,
There you
like,
go.
what, almost 11, 12 years into my full span of my amateur and professional career.
Yeah.
Obviously, with some little layoffs, and, but COVID screwed a lot of things up. So,
For everybody.
yeah. Which I managed to still, with my old promotion, fight a couple COVID fights in, like, a very closed area with, like, no more than 20 people there.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's like
that's not fun.
No, we had to stack sponsor money, and I know what was going on. He was squeezing what he could out of it, and no, the fighters weren't getting paid. So it was really tough at that time to be like, okay. And then sponsors, obviously, people, the mom and pop businesses, the people that support you,
Yeah.
people that actually support you, because we're not getting big commercial right now or anything
No.
like that. They're in trouble too because COVID's kind of wiping their business out. You know what I mean? So people that did sponsor during that was like a huge thing for me. Like I was like, wow, this is an eye opener because these people are here supporting me at the end of the day.
Rain
And
or shine.
They're keeping me in the ring. You know what I mean? They're keeping me active.
Yeah. Which is great. We talked a lot about that during the interview with Luke, and I don't know if you saw. We'll post everybody. You send me all the images of their logos, and
Yep.
we'll absolutely shout them out because again, like you said, it can't happen without these people that are
course.
sponsoring. And like I said last time, I think a lot of people look at it and it's like, oh, they're looking for an advertisement. Like it's not.
Right.
That's just part of the package. Like they get to put their logo on your shorts, but they also are looking to help you.
Of course.
And it's very powerful the amount of
Dude,
money that they give and what it allows you to do.
It allows us to perform at our highest ability.
Yeah,
And
sure.
take that stress off us, even the mental side of it. Like, damn, I'm gonna have to sell X amount of tickets to do this and do that. It's like, and then you get all of a sudden this guy throwing you $350 or $500, and it's like, wow,
Yeah.
wow. It really shows how beautiful the sport of boxing really is
Okay.
on the business side as well. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because every fighter is trying to get that win to kind of raise their stock, as you can call it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because the stock in boxing is all about winning.
Yeah.
The more you win, the higher your stock goes up.
Yeah.
It's it's an investment. So for these guys to dump money into you and put money into you, they're investors. And what you hope in your career is that you can make X amount of money to give something back. You know what I mean? Like my main
Absolutely.
thing is I want to be able to make enough where I can obviously treat my family and be happy and also treat myself. I mean, I'm the guy getting in the ring at the end of the day. But also be able to, toss some money back to some people or even pay for a surprise vacation for someone.
Sure.
That's what you want.
Right.
That's what you want. And that's the beauty of the sport. That's what it should be. You know what I mean?
Right.
Giving and getting and then giving back.
Yeah, that's huge, and a lot of people don't look at it that way. They just look at it as violence,
Of
and
course.
and I have a lot of people that I've talked to, like friends and family, that I always tell them, like, I work with fighters, but
Right.
typically lately it's been boxers, and I'll say boxers, and the funny thing is their first instinct is they always say the dogs, and
Yeah.
that's so specific. Only
awesome.
I only photograph dog box,
Yeah.
like box.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I work with fighters, and then I show them the images, and they're like, oh wow, that's so cool, but I don't watch that.
Right.
I don't like that, and I'm
No,
like,
my mayor of my city
Yeah.
hates boxing, despises it, has made comments about it, never wanted to even help fund the local boxing gym that, was running on a board. We had to get one of my sponsors, Jeff Scalise, and actually, matter of fact, Sam Amari, my chiropractor and sponsor, both worked with the board of directors in Haverhill. They got a bunch of guys together, and they funded the Haverhill Boxing Club, not the city of Haverhill.
wow,
The mayor is like,
you're just not into
I
it.
got a lot of things I could say about it, but
Yeah, we don't want to get shut down. This
We
is
won't
only
do that.
episode 2.
Yeah.
Only episode 2. We can't have the
But-
mayor coming out.
but I guess my biggest point is this is keeping kids off the street.
For sure.
You want kids getting into gangs? Do you want kids selling drugs? Do you want kids doing drugs?
Right,
Do you want them going to school? This teaches you discipline.
right.
You can't some kids can't just learn discipline. You know what I mean? Some of them are just punks. Some of them have ADHD. Some of them have ADD. They don't understand that. They're kids.
Yeah,
This is a place for them to get away, learn something about themselves, and become the best them.
yeah, and it
This is where it starts, right here.
and it follows them throughout their life,
Of
because the
course.
discipline you learn here at 14 to 15, and even if you just do it for a few years and then you walk away, you've had that, you've trained it, and it follows you.
And you've seen people's struggles here, and they've seen your struggles. So you guys are both here together, struggling. You know what I mean?
You realize you're
You
not
become
alone.
brothers. Yes,
Yeah.
you become. There's so much more to. I hate when, like you said, it's like people just look at it as this violent, barbaric, and it is. Don't get me wrong. That's the beauty of it too.
Right.
This is the beauty of the sport. All of it together. It comes together. Everything. People at the end, nothing's better than at the end of the fight, after a dog fight, you and your opponent hugging and just being like, "Wow, man! Like,
Yeah.
we just went to war."
Yeah, and I think I've seen that too. People go, "Why are they hugging?" And it's like, because they just both put it all on the line together.
We marked something in our lives where we will forever remember each other. We literally binded forever. Like we just went to war. You know what I mean?
Right.
Clashed.
Yep.
And that's the beauty of it.
and a lot of people can't understand it because they've never done that,
Of course.
so it's difficult.
It takes people out of their comfort.
Yeah.
Like when people are like, "Hey, you should get your kid into boxing," like, "Oh, no, I don't want to do that." It's like he doesn't need a fight. It teaches character for
Yeah.
real. Like
You can
it
just come to
really-
the gym and train.
learn something
Yeah.
about yourself more than anything.
So speaking of hugging after the fight, your fight had a
Oh,
dust up.
there
Little
was
dust up.
There was a
Hey,
lot of
hey,
that.
shout out to Coach. He was in the ring.
He jumped right in, Junior.
He was in
My
he
guy,
had your
Junior.
back.
Shout out, Junior.
Yeah, he had your back. I was like, oh, he's in there with the Timbs on.
I understood why. I was up on the scorecards very clearly, and I knew that. So we were aware that he might do some dirty stuff, and
Okay.
you know what? They told me to give it right back to him. They're like, "Don't headbutt him.
Yeah.
Don't hit him with low blows." They're like, "He wants to keep ducking his head down and coming up like the Holyfield trick. Lean on him, lay on him." So I just kept. If you notice, I kept pushing him down.
Yeah, you had one where you were grappling in the highlight reel that I put in there, and you threw him right to the mat.
Right
Like,
down to the ground.
Yeah, like stop doing that.
Not to be disrespectful, but just to show him where I stand.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm not gonna let you push me
listen,
around.
you want to play that game, then I'm going to play that game too.
Yeah.
I did give him a little noogie. That's been my traditional thing. I did
Oh,
that.
jeez.
I did that to Tiger Johnson.
Uh-huh. That go over
It
well?
caused a lot of dispute, and it ended up in the worst way possible. But I needed to get into his head. I knew that,
Yeah.
and I think it's very similar with what I just said about Sandoval. Sandoval needed to get into my head. He knew that.
Yeah.
And sometimes breaking someone's mental is the only way to
Yeah.
beat them. And then once you break their mental, they're getting tired. They're throwing
Yeah.
punches they shouldn't be throwing. And you take them out of their pace and you start controlling the pace.
Yeah.
It's all about who has the ball in their. That's
Happens.
how people get caught because you're taking your vision away. You're taking
Yeah.
what you worked for away because now you're playing into his games. This is becoming his fight now.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing is you never want to fight your opponent's fight
Yeah.
because styles make fights. Like I said, like I like to throw a nice straight right. I can curve it a little bit, but I think Sandoval. This is how I knew he was a smart boxer. He knew to come over the top when I was coming in to throw the right hand. And what I should have been doing, because I looked at a lot of footage, is taking that half step back after through the right hand to bait him and hit him with the check left, because he would have walked right into it. But I got hit in the third round, and everything goes like echoing out, and I'm like, he just ruptured my eardrum. And now, like, my motor skills are off. Like, I'm feeling like this side of my body is not reacting like this side of the body. So I'm like, kind of like looking at him a little bit more angled. Um, it happened to me in a fight in the past during one of my COVID shows. So, and I freaked out. Like, when I sat down, I was like, what's going on? Like, and it's like, you got your bell wrong. That's
Yeah.
what's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I was so like, but when it happened here, I was like, ah. I've
Fami-
remembered this. I know this.
familiar
I'm
feeling.
very familiar.
Yeah.
And when I sat down, Junior's like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "Well, my ear's ruptured, so you got to talk to me through this ear." And everyone was like, Tommy looked like confused, and I'm like, "No, like my ear is ruptured, and this whole side of my body is not reacting. But what do I like? Basically, like, what do we do here? You know what I mean? They like work the jab again. The jab's land, and that straight right's land, and maybe stop. I was lunging a little bit with it. That's what probably caught him on the ear, right on the ear, and it just popped instantly. And I think it's like crazy to think back on it because I can remember the sound and remember the feeling, and
Wow.
everything went silent in my head. There was a moment in time where I was like, "Oh man, like I really hope I don't get caught again with one of those. Like that sucked." And I had to kind of overcome the obstacle of, okay, now I have a ruptured eardrum. I just got rung. My bells got rung a little bit. The kid has some power.
Yeah.
So now I had to make it a smarter fight, and I had to make sure that I went back to the basics and kind of, started mixing things up even a little bit. I started doing a little bit of the drunken style and kind of doing the step back, step over, and like moving around. And then I started making him chase me. If you didn't notice, I started circling around. I was setting him up. I was trying to bait him to fight my fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than stepping in and getting caught with those shots that are going to possibly ruin this opportunity for me.
Yeah. We had met a couple weeks prior, and I had never seen you fight. And I can tell you, you looked very comfortable, very confident. And you guys went the distance. In the end, you still looked healthy. Again,
Right.
obviously not. Something had happened, but
Right.
your conditioning was on point. It was very impressive. Like I tell people all the time, I do not envy any of these judges ever.
Right. No.
Like that was a tough fight. Like I think you had it.
Dude,
Like I was
that's
like,
a tough fight to judge because
Yeah.
you get the brawler kind of plotter style against a more of like a runner boxer style.
Yeah.
And some judges don't like that running boxing style. And some judges just think that's an ugly brawler style. So it's like you never know what the judges are thinking.
You never want to leave it up to the
And
judges.
you never know who they kind of favorite more. You know what I mean? It's like there's a lot to it. And people can be like, yeah, but judges aren't really biased. It's like, please. They know the fighters they want to win, and they're gonna play to their best. They're gonna
Or a
play.
style that they like, or something that they're looking for
Yes,
specifically.
yes.
Like they might not know about either fight or not care, but like you said, they like one style, and then they're gonna go when they see that style working,
Right.
they're gonna get
If
better
someone
points.
likes kind of that traditional old boxing style, I kind of have that. So for a lot of when I see a lot of the old judges, I'm like, I'm gonna put on a show.
Yeah, here we go.
They're happy. They're gonna be happy. Yeah. And then I can mix it up. I get in the pocket, and all of a sudden I'm letting my hands go. I'm shoe shining, and I'm ripping the body. And for a lot of the oldies, they look at that and they're like, this is boxing. You know what I mean? Not and then run, and then run, which I can do that a little bit. And I like to do that because I don't want to take damage. Let's be real. Does anybody want to take damage? Come on.
It's inevitable, but no one wants to.
No one wants to,
Yeah.
except you're Floyd Mayweather. Then you take. He probably been hit with like 25 power shots his whole career,
Wow.
which is crazy.
Yeah,
So I got hit with 90 of those by Tiger.
that's
So
awesome. Moving forward, you're looking to get ranked. You're looking to get your star. You're 9-4. Just won the championship. We're going down to Florida. That'll if we can get the W. Let's just assume a W because that's
Yep.
what we're aiming for every
I
time.
never say if. I always say when.
When?
Because you gotta put that energy out there,
Yeah.
man. Manifestation is
All right,
huge.
you can say that. I just try not to
I get what
discourage
you
the
mean. I get
the
what
other
you mean.
person.
I get what you mean.
Because I don't know them and they might beat me up or something. You know, I don't want to do that. So 10-4. Then you're coming back in June for fights in Lowell, I believe.
Yep.
At the auditorium again.
And I think I know Mike's tossed the idea out. He said something about July back in Florida in the Clearwater, I think,
Okay.
area.
I had seen Gabby post about that.
Which means that he said that like he'd love us to be on this one. This is like a huge thing for him because you know what? Oh yeah, shout out Ray's and Fire Fist, their collaboration.
Okay.
Ray's Boxing is no longer. It's Ray's Fire Fist Boxing Promotions. We are now officially collaborated with a promotion out of Florida. And
Okay.
we are going to be working, I think, back and forth with having their fighters fight on our card, and we're going to be fighting on their card. So I think this is going
That's
to
big news.
open a lot of doors.
Yeah.
I
that's
can't
huge.
believe I haven't said that. I'm glad that we got to that topic where we're going to Florida. I'm excited though. I'm excited to see. I think, like I said, the sky is the limit. I can reach for it and keep reaching, and I think I'm going to get there because you know what? I don't give up. And I've proved that. I proved that in the ring. I proved that outside the ring. I'm not going to lay down for no one, and I'm always going to stand tall, and I'm always going to stand for what I believe.
Yeah.
I'd like to get on both Florida cards though, because you know what? After this one, if someone likes my style, they're going to want to come back.
Yeah.
And then they hear I'm on that card, and you know what? I'm bringing fans to the area, and I'm getting fans in Florida. You know what I mean? So I want to become a regular in Florida. I want to start moving around a little bit too. You know what I mean? I want to start fighting all over. I fought in Dallas, and I fought in Oklahoma when I fought Tiger. And I also fought in the Miami Garden against Aaron Aponte. I'll tell you what, Florida's my favorite place to fight.
You're no stranger to travel, as you just pointed out. Is there any kind of obstacles that you see when you travel for fighting, or is it like? Because I know it's not like football where you're getting there a week early.
It's more nervous because like when you know you have to step on a scale, and like my old friend, I should say, because we don't talk anymore, but he's a good kid. He was working my nutrition and all that for a couple fights, and he was like, "Listen, you're gonna step on the scale when you get off the plane, and your water weight's gonna be like skyrocketed because you're going in high elevation, obviously."
Okay.
And he's like, "So don't freak out if you're like a couple pounds. We're like, you say like you were like 144 and you were gonna go do a water cut the next day and just get to 140, and then all of a sudden you're back at like 147." He's like, "It's gonna go down once you take a piss and like relax, and like," he's like, "it's just your body has so much water in it. It's a huge percentage of your body." I've actually done like a testing. I have like 63% body like water weight in my body, so we have a lot of water in us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that did happen one time where I stepped on the scale after a flight, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Oh. And then like the next day after I slept, I woke up and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
back on
Leveled
point."
back out.
Yep.
Yeah. So how does it feel being on this card with all three of your gym mates? Like the last one was awesome to see.
Right.
It's incredible. You know, like I see, I had seen that picture. You know, you and Luke hugging, and
Dude,
before the fight,
the emotions were so high.
Yeah.
And me and Gabby have been sparring mates for probably like 5 going on 6 years now. So it's crazy. The first, like when we were sitting down getting my hands up, I looked back and like we're all a little stressed out, and I just go, "Yo, Gabby, this is the first time we've ever fought in a card together." He's like, "Dude, I was thinking that earlier too." Because when I went pro after my Golden Glove run, I got beat by Xavier Vega, who's like a top like prospect. I was like, I'm going pro. You know what I mean? Like I'm losing the love for the amateurs. It's just I want to get paid. I want to do this. So Gabby was still climbing the ranks in amateurs. Actually, it took me my second fight to meet Gabby, where actually the Chris Jacobs camp, me and Gabby, I went to Lawrence, the old gym over in Intense, and that's where I met Gabby. I was like, I need sparring. You know what I mean? And we sparred, and I had saw him fighting the gloves, and then we made that connection. dude, we probably have over 1,000+ rounds together.
Wow.
I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, we come in here and we'll turn the clock on 24 minutes and we'll go 24 minutes straight. No breaks.
Wow.
But that's chemistry. That's like we know each other's style. We know we're not gonna rip each other apart. We're working on things. And then once in a while we'll beat the hell out of each other. We'll come in and be like, nice, easy day, huh? And he's like, yep. And then the first punch that
Escalates.
lands, it's like,
Yeah.
just like,
Yep. It just escalates from there.
that's also another part of the sport that I love. It's like everybody knows when you say, "Hey, it's a light day,
Yeah.
light sparring day." No, come on. Why are you even saying that?
I used to train jujitsu, and it was the same way. Like light roll, light
Yeah,
roll.
yeah.
And then, you know,
Yeah.
as soon as somebody goes
yeah.
for the pass, it's like it just
Try
escalates.
telling someone light day when it's like a sport of ego and competitiveness.
it's
Yeah,
not happening.
no.
Not happening.
You always want to get. And then people will be like, I hate when people like walk out of the ring and then like during sparring and be like, did I win that? And it's like everybody does that.
Yeah.
They go up to your boys after and you're like, how did I do? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
like
Not necessarily win or lose, but it's do
no,
well.
no.
Did I
You
do
just
well?
wanna
Did it?
know that
yeah,
you
did it
want to know
score?
in simulation.
Yeah.
If you were a judge,
Right.
how would you have judged that performance?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I need the confidence to just tell me the truth. If I did bad, well, I got to go back and I got to work on things.
Right.
If I did great, well, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to mix it up a little bit more.
Yeah, and that goes back to what we were talking about earlier about how it's good to be in the gym.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people in their lives, they lie to themselves and they don't face the mistakes where
Right.
you can't. If you sit there and you're like, oh yeah, you always get caught with a right hook off of this move and you lie and you say, no, I don't. That guy was just faster. That guy was
Right.
you're like, no, it's because you're not defending and you lie to yourself and lie to yourself. You're gonna get caught and you're
Of
gonna get
course.
caught.
It's going to happen sooner or later
until you man up and you're honest with
Accept it.
yourself and you
Accept
say,
it.
I'm not good at that.
I need
I
to
need
work
to
on
fix it because if I have these mistakes, I'm gonna get knocked out.
Exactly.
But in real life, that doesn't happen.
No.
When we're out and about walking around, somebody can be terrible at their job,
Of course.
make the same mistake every day, and still get a paycheck,
Of course.
right?
And that's the beauty of boxing, though, is you can't make the mistakes over and over again. People are watching footage too.
Yeah.
So if you keep making that mistake and they notice in the last 4 fights you made that same mistake, what do you think they're working on trying to land? The punches that you make the mistakes on.
Yeah. Your footwork that you're making mistakes on everything. Right. And
okay, we know he backs straight up. Pressure. You'll hear coaches say that. You know why they're saying that? Because they've been watching this kid back up his last 3 fights.
Right. Yeah. Luke mentioned that the Argentinian guy, his name's Castillo, I think, or Castellano was.
Castellano, yeah.
They had no footage on him.
Dude,
it was tough.
They didn't even know who they were fighting, really.
Yeah.
I mean, Luke, Richard's opponent, pulled out, and I think that was like a 48-hour thing.
Wow.
Or like a week thing. He got on and flew out. He flew out in 48 hours, I'm pretty sure.
From Venezuela.
Yeah,
on 48-hour notice.
With like a pretty like decent record too.
Yeah,
I think
he was
like
very good.
12-15.
That was a
lot
good
of
fight.
experience.
The heavyweight fight went 10 rounds.
I know. They were slugging too, I heard.
It was good. It was good. Yeah, there was some hard punches.
There was even some chirping downstairs after.
Well, was
You
there?
missed that.
Oh,
No, that was interesting.
That's good. That's good.
I even got up and was like, I'm gonna go check it out.
Yeah. No,
I'm stressing out.
It was
I'm gonna go check it out.
It was a great fight. I think that with the promotion, Mike does a great job.
He does. Yeah.
Because I've been to fights. Like I'm not I always like to call myself like a amateur. Like I'm a watcher. Like I don't obsess over it, but I watch. I go to the shows. If there's something local, I go. Like I definitely know more than a lot of people, but not more than most.
Some people will pretend they know things about boxing, and then try to like jump in the mix. I hate when people do that. I'm like, what are you saying?
Yeah, you don't know. Yeah, I've never been in the ring, but I can tell you if it's close.
You have a love for the sport.
Yeah.
And you're trying to learn a thing or two about the sport.
Yeah.
And you're surrounding yourself around the right people, and we're surrounding ourselves around the right people too.
Absolutely.
This is supposed to be about everyone coming together and trying to help each other to be better. You know what I mean? So I think what you're doing with this right now is amazing for all fighters.
I appreciate that.
And we appreciate you. You know what I mean? Because you don't get people that want to just give a helping hand and like, I want to get your name out.
Yeah.
You help me get my name out. You know what I mean? I think that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Some people will be like, how's this going to benefit me?
Yeah.
It's like, you should not be, don't get greedy.
Yeah. No.
You know what greedy gets you?
Nothing.
Right down the rabbit hole, brother.
Yeah, it's exciting. I guess we kind of all linked up at a great time.
At the greatest time.
Yeah,
That's fate though. I think everything's meant to be in life. I think people meet people for a reason.
yeah,
Like you just happen to be there and take an action shot of Luke, and next thing you know, you're doing shoots for fighters, and you had already done work with Marcus, right?
yeah,
I believe.
yeah,
So it's like it's just like it's a domino effect. Like
yeah,
Luke said that too,
yeah,
the
yeah,
domino effect. It's like
mm,
okay, so it's networking.
yeah,
You got to meet this person, shake this guy's hand to meet that guy. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah, I'd been doing photography for a couple years, and never really found like I knew I loved it, but I never knew what I wanted to do.
Right,
And then I had done a photo shoot for a friend, and then he brought up that he had a friend that was a pro boxer, which was Marcus,
right.
and he liked my style. And then we linked up, and then I did that. And uh, being in the gym, again, like I said, I had trained jujitsu for a while, and I loved the camaraderie, and then just being in there, and I we're in the ring, and I was like, looked at my girlfriend, and I was like, I hadn't even like looked at the images on the computer. I was
Right.
like, this is what I want to do. I was
Right.
like, I want to work with people like this because one, he was one of the most like down to earth, appreciative person for what I did for him.
Right.
He uses the images to promote himself. I was like, so they have value.
Of course.
Where a lot of people, you take pictures and then you never see them again because
Right.
they say they're going to do things. But I'm like, this guy's doing things. He has to promote himself. He has to use it. So you're seeing, and it's not like an ego thing where I'm like, oh, I see my images when I flip through
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah.
I just see, hey, I did work, and then here it paid off, and it's
Of
not for me,
course.
not just for me. It paid off for them
For
because
them.
I like, yeah, you guys will tag me and stuff, and people see me, but I'm like, that doesn't matter. I'm like, he's using this to sell tickets to make a living for him. These
I,
images have value,
I like the beauty of both sides where it's like your eye catches it. You know what I mean? And it puts it all together though. You create the art, and then we present the art,
right?
and that's where we help each other. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You guys create this media outlet, and you put fighters on. You promote them.
yeah,
We can promote you.
right,
So okay, even if it's just a tag, and maybe only two people are gonna click it,
right,
it's two people closer to what we need. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Everyone seeing what we have, people talking,
yeah,
and kind of creating this outlook where this can be big. This can be a really big thing for everyone,
right,
for the fighter, for the media, everything.
right.
You guys have crazy content.
Yeah.
It's fairly new. Like I said, I can't wait to see what a year is going to do for you guys. You know
Yeah,
what
I
I mean?
can't wait to see what a year does for you. And
Yeah,
that's the cool part is, like I said, one of the first things I said at the end when we were ending was I was like, I know you're gonna be what if we continue this. I know Luke's gonna be back, and I know you'll be back
of course.
because we work very closely with you guys. And I'm like, I hope in my head, I hope that you do because I want this to get where local guys who have to do it themselves
Right.
don't have to do it themselves anymore. We can help you.
Of course.
Like where it's like you call me up, you just, hey Jay, I got a fight coming up. Can we schedule? Yep,
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got you in. Let's go. And we know, especially here, we know we have the access, so it's very easy.
Of course.
You're local, I'm local, and again, like you said, if we had a big enough person or the fight was big enough, and they called us from New York, we drive.
Of
You know,
course.
we'll-
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we'll make it
Well,
work.
the new
You know we're coming to Florida, right?
I know you guys are. I know
Yeah.
you guys were. Yeah.
And you know we're gonna try to bring all this with us.
Are you really?
Yeah.
How are you gonna do it? You gonna ship it?
Yeah.
No way.
So we can, and we're thinking maybe do something poolside
Really?
before the fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something
Dude.
like that.
Dude, it's gonna be sick.
You and I have a photo shoot coming up when you get your outfit.
Yep.
Is that how does that work? Because I noticed very interesting. Like almost every boxer never wears the same outfit.
Yep.
That has to be expensive. One
It's
and
wicked expensive.
and
bro.
two, where do you get that done?
I do it at Boxer World.
Okay.
They're out of England. They're getting pretty big.
Okay.
I've been with them for a little bit. I did a couple different fits until I was like, I want to feel out a couple different ones till I'm like happy.
Sure.
I worked with Aaron Harrison on a couple of his designs, and he has the body kit ones, and it's really great. It's really great fit, but it was very heavy. I did the
Okay.
gladiator trunks, and it was like super heavy. So I was like,
That's the ones
I
that have
can't
the
beat the tassels
yeah,
and all that.
yeah.
And I was like, this is a beautiful fit, wonderful job, but I was like, I just need something lighter.
Okay.
So that's when I started doing with Boxer World, and every fit has been light, nice, and so when you go on Boxer World, you create your everything, and they just build it for you. So most of my fits is all created through the mind of myself. You know what I mean? Like
So they give you like an online stencil and then you.
a template. Yeah.
Okay.
And you swipe and you pick colors, and they have a bunch of different logos, whatever, and then I uploaded obviously my logos, and I do this and that,
Right.
and I do all my own sponsorship. I order in the patches. I do everything on my own with
Right.
that. You know what I mean? A lot of people are like, really? It's like, yeah, I save a lot of money.
Well, you do, but it's also you can make fans by people not liking you too.
Of course.
Yeah.
Listen, I've always said this: bad publicity is still publicity.
Yeah. 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 How many
Yeah,
people? How many people don't like Conor McGregor? But
no
you
one,
have to
because
watch.
he's the villain. But
Yeah.
it's like, it's like some people's eyes, he's the hero.
Yeah. 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 So John Jones fights next week.
Next weekend, I don't know the guy.
No, but he's had what, 4 years off?
No, the dude he's fighting is tough.
Yeah. But
It's
how
gonna
long
be
John Jones been out?
3.5 year
Yeah.
layover.
Yeah.
A
I
lot of
don't.
ups and downs for him. I can't wait to see him back.
I'll tell you, the thing I like about MMA and I like it about boxing is that guy can still win. He still has a chance. 100% has a
Dude, look
chance.
look what
I don't care. I don't care if it says the opposite.
Gustafson, Alexander Gustafson. No one knew who this guy was. Everybody knew who John was. Everyone knew that he was messing around with drugs and getting all coked up. And he had a dog fight with Gustafson
Yeah.
and then tested for cocaine after. It's like this guy literally must have done cocaine like a day or two. He must
Yeah.
have been bendering.
Yeah.
Like, how are you testing for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Dude,
a maniac.
some people said that he rip a line and go right in the ring, like
Yeah.
go right in the cage. That's why though, but he needs to change that attitude. He needs to change. He needs to realize people look up to him. He's
Yeah, hopefully,
He's an
yeah.
iconic person.
For
He's
sure.
an iconic person. He needs to change the outlook of how the media treated him too.
Yeah.
But he does it to himself at the same time.
Yeah.
I want to see a different John Jones this time, not just in the cage, outside the cage. Because I like John. I think John's a great guy. And I think he's a great fighter. And I think he's been through a lot of ups and downs in his life.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's still nasty.
Yeah.
He's nasty. Yeah.
So then the next one is Jake Paul and Tommy Fury.
I think it's hilarious. I think it's great. And I think Jake actually like gonna beat Tommy Fury. I'm gonna be real.
Wow.
Dude, people don't understand. Jake Paul is doing nothing different than what boxers around here are doing. They're fighting washed up MMA guys or aged up MMA guys. Except Jake's fighting the highest of them. Like he's fighting Anderson Silva and all them.
Yeah.
Tell me many people that could do that. Anderson beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., okay? A real a WBC champion. You know what I mean? So obviously Jake is training for this. This is serious to him. But I mean, I don't know. Tyson Fury said that he's leaving his brother in Dubai.
Yeah, I saw that. Leave him behind.
I love the whole family. I love what is it, John Fury, the dad?
Yeah.
He rips his shirt off. Come on, I
Yeah.
did bare knuckle. He's yelling at him.
Yeah, they're savage.
I'll tell you what. I think Jake Paul, what he does for boxing is great right now. And
Right.
at first, at the beginning, I was like, no, no, you're not gonna bring. I've been doing this like my whole life. You're not gonna come in here from Disney Channel, YouTube,
Yeah.
and take like. But then he takes half his purse, and next thing you know, he's dumping it into all the other fighters. It's like, wow, I didn't know that. You know what I mean? I didn't
Yeah.
know this guy's like proving the point that like fighters are underpaid,
Mm.
and he pays them.
Yeah.
Like everybody now like was talking bad about him. Now all the fighters are like, Jake, let me get on your card.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because he's bringing
Or
them
the
back.
biggest payday of your life. Yeah.
So you think?
I think
Paul's gonna
I'm
win?
gonna go with Jake Paul by knockout.
Wow, by knockout, not even going to the
I'm
card.
gonna go
Okay.
Jake Paul by knockout. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna be in like the later rounds. Like
Right.
I think it's an 8 round fight. It's probably be between 6 to 8.
Yeah.
If Fury wins, it's by just I think the scorecard. I don't think he can knock him out. But Fury's not really a big power shot puncher. I mean, he'll wing shots here and there, but he likes to jab and move, and he kind of fights like his brother, but he's tiny, so it's like
Mm,
doesn't really work to his benefit.
right.
Um, I think, I mean, even in his last couple fights that he fought on DAZN, and even the exhibition that he fought recently, it's just like he's not his brother.
Yeah,
He's Tommy Fury. You know what I mean?
I'm
He's not. He's
I'm
not.
gonna agree with you. I think that Jake Paul's gonna win this fight because,
Yeah.
as we were talking about earlier, I think that Tommy has a lot more to lose, and it's gonna take him out of whatever his normal fighting would be.
Dude, his family's in his head right now.
Yeah,
Which they shouldn't be doing that to
So
him.
much pressure on
Shouldn't
him.
be doing that to him.
Jake Paul has basically at this point zero pressure comparatively.
Jake-
Yeah, because I think you're right. Everybody deserves a shot because we talk about it where it's like you're literally fighting for your life. Where if you can get big enough, the paydays are not just life changing, like generationally, like wealthy,
Yes,
life
exactly.
changing
Exactly.
money. and you're like, I'm choosing to try to fight for it physically, where other people go out and they might grind in a different way.
Right.
And they're like, hey, this person decided to get in the ring to try to fight for their life,
Right.
to make money that is life changing,
Right.
and it's there. So I think everybody deserves it,
Of course.
right? Men, women, it doesn't matter, right?
It's
Um,
at this point, it's equal opportunity for everyone.
yeah,
And if
exactly.
you're a great fighter, you should be able to show that you are a great
Yeah,
fighter.
right.
Yeah.
So I'd asked Luke this before, and we had dabbled on it earlier. Did you have any sponsors that you just wanted to talk about real quick?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to like I said earlier, Jeff Scalise with ACB Recycling. He's been a longtime sponsor. I actually worked for him over at that company. He's a longtime family friend, and he supports me day in, day out. Anytime I see him, you need anything, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? We have that kind of relationship, and I can go and, talk to him for hours, honestly. He's a great guy. And then I'd like to give a shout out to my guy, Sam Amari, Dr. Sam Amari. He's my chiropractor, longtime friend as well, um, longtime sponsor. Has been sponsored me since the beginning of honestly, my amateur and professional career. Um, he's a great guy, and both of them are great guys. I can't say it enough. Um, Frankie Morocco and Goat City, we all have that one. Goat City Transportation. Don't drink and drive, guys. You're gonna go out to the fight. You're gonna go out and club and have fun. Just don't drink and drive. You got so many different transportation outlets, whether it's Uber or Goat City, baby. You're gonna jump. You gotta give them a call, and you know what? You gotta save yourself, and you gotta save someone else's life. Don't risk it and be selfish for one night of fun. You know what I mean? Who else do I got? Mark, Alfresca's Restaurante, my cousin. Very good food out in Tewksbury, north of Boston. Uh, some of the best Italian food you could have. I guarantee you if you have it, you should have it.
I'll check
Chicken
it out. I'll definitely check it out.
chicken piccata's wonderful.
Oh, that's my girlfriend's favorite.
Best chicken parmesan I've ever had in my life. Hands down, best chicken parm I've ever had in my life. Um, what else do we got? FRM, first round management. I just signed a management deal with them. We've been in talks of stuff, and they work with me, and they always throw out fight ideas, and they always try to always keep my name out there and relevant. So shout out to them. What do we got? Oh, my boy, Zach Morrison, HVAC, one of the best around. He's honestly, the kid puts his work in, and the kid will show up and get the job done. He's showed me some of his work, and it's fantastic.
Nice.
He can do anything all around. He's a great handyman, all the way from HVAC to like plumbing and heating and pipe fitting and stuff like that. Um,
That's great.
I don't want to miss anyone. Hold on.
Well, if we do miss them,
Yeah.
we can always roll
Hey,
on low.
shout out to my sponsors. That's all. I love you guys.
We'll make sure we get you up on screen and everything like that. That's
Awesome.
And congratulations to Mike Reyes for signing whatever that deal was.
Yeah, congratulations to Mike and my promotion for signing a deal. And now we are Ray's Fire Fist Boxing Promotions. I can't wait to see what happens in the future. And I know that we're going to make some noise.
Yeah, absolutely. April 29th in St. Petersburg, Florida. It's going to be great. I'm excited. Sounds like it's going to be a good
It's going
card.
to be a great card.
Going to be a great card. We got Harry, we got Gabby, we got Luke, we got Marcus. We're going to be there. It's going to be fun.
We got new addition too. My dude Kyrie Todd. He's going to be flying out, and I believe he's going to be rolling around with our corners. So we're going to be all together.
Okay,
it's going to be sick.
That's awesome.
Sick card.
Anything else before we head out?
I just want to say shout out to my 91-year-old grandfather who's going in for surgery this week. You've been there from the beginning, and I just want to say that I'm there with you too, and I love you, Pop. And I want to say a shout out to my mom and dad and my brother and everybody else, my friends. Hey, in the city of Haverhill and Lawrence, let's go!
and all the haters.
And all the haters. You guys motivate me to be the best me.
That's awesome. So thank you everybody for coming in and watching the second episode. Thank you, James, for sitting back there and monitoring, make sure everything was all right. Thank you, Harry, for coming in.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys April 29th in St. Petersburg.
Yes, sir. We out.
See ya.